Hey, what is going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Courtney's 101. Um, sorry I'm actually late today. I went out, did some shopping as I start this keto diet, and getting back home was a little bit crazy. So I do apologize for being late. I'm really a stickler for time, but I am so excited. I got this kind of calm down for a bit. This week is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be dope. I've been waiting for a minute to have this and do this interview with my sister. Actually, I'm gonna just save up all the energy right now. I'm just gonna bring her on, and as you guys start plugging in and getting in, we'll get started. All right, let's do this. I've been waiting for this for a minute. So we're bringing on Miss Silva. Silva. No relation to the color. Ah, what's
Hey,
going on?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm good. I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving the weather right now.
how have you been doing? Especially during these last couple of months. How has things been for you?
Things have been shaky. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like realistically speaking, things have been very, very shaky internally, externally. I feel like I was forced to learn a lot about myself.
Mm.
And
If you
and
don't mind, what are some things that you learn? I think for all of us, especially as creatives, we had to kind of learn a lot. You know what I mean? So what did you learn?
well, for one, I learned that being patient is a possibility.
Mm.
I no, seriously, because I'm the type of person I feel like it's either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. Like it's either, you're with it or you're not. So that
Yeah.
whole taking the time and putting extra effort into certain people, I kind of was taking it as like, all right, well, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. I'm not gonna force myself or, force the situation, but I had to learn like, no,
Yeah.
relax, take the time out, slow it down, just give myself the space to let things happen but also put the work in. I
Right.
felt I wasn't really doing that. Like as much as I say I was doing things or I give people advice on certain things, I wasn't really doing that. So patience was a big thing that I learned.
Mm.
Another
Mm.
thing is like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing I learned was that I can save. Like saving is something that has saved me in this time, especially because I don't have a 9 to 5. I hadn't had a 9 to 5 in like almost 3 years,
Yeah.
So, but I also was still like a spender because I'm like, yeah, I got to invest in myself. I got to put my money forward. It'll come
Mm-hmm.
like, God has always found a way to bless me. So, I don't got to worry about that. But
Right.
there's one thing like about depending on God, you know what I'm saying? Like God is gonna make it happen, but don't be foolish too.
Right.
Like
Right.
yeah, damn fool. Like
Right. God doesn't bless ignorant. So like, yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. So I want to say being patient, saving, and then one of the biggest things I learned is that I'm capable of forgiving people, and
Take a deep breath for that one.
that's something I had to do many different levels with many different people, whether they knew it or not. Like I realized that I was harboring a lot of anger, a lot of, ill feelings, a lot of just like disdain, like to the point where even if the thought of something that remotely looked like them or smelled like them or something they might have done that day, like I was just like, nah, like now my whole mood has changed.
Mm.
I was allowing that energy to affect how I'm moving and how I'm, like progressing
Right.
and in turn, I'm blocking my own blessings because I'm holding on to something. And I'm sure, look, people don't be worried about, petty little stuff like that. Like, I be working, like, I be pressed, like, nah, like, what she did last
The
summer?
whole day, gone. Fuck it. That's it.
Like, I'm a Leo. I'm fiery. Like, and I hold grudges. I'm with whatever. So that was me. That was my personality. So when it comes to it, that's what people expect from me. So that's what I'm gonna give him every time. Heat, you feel me? But I learned
Facts.
I could be a little bit more forgiving, and it's caused me to be like more free, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel more
I think
free
also too, like,
a little bit.
also too, I think people don't realize is forgiving doesn't mean that you necessarily got to let people stay in your life or let people feel like they have that place still. You can forgive and be like, okay, deuce, like you still got to go, but for the sake of myself, I'm going to forgive. And that's so hard. I think even in the midst of this time, having to slow down because it's only been you. You know what I mean? Before you're doing this, you're doing it, you're out, you're about, and it kind of gets away from you. So to have to sit in yourself and be like, yo, why the hell am I so angry? Why am I so mad for no reason? Like, just the thought of things got me ready to jump out the fucking window. Like, so I definitely get that. Are you still with me? You still here or not? You loading, sis? Are you still with me right now? I don't know if it's me or if it's her. Can y'all see me or is it her? She's paused. All right, I thought it was me. I was going to say this iPhone 11 and about to be doing this right now. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. So hopefully she gets this together for a second. Thank you guys for coming in and joining us for another episode of One on One where Courtney starts. We do this every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'm a little behind, CP time crept in today, and I wasn't able to do what. Yes, Silva, you frozen. Yes, you back. You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I think your thing's it's a little,
it's glitching.
Yeah, it's kind of slow.
I don't know. I swear it must be this phone because.
Okay, it's better now. I believe it's better. You're good. So yeah, so for those of you who are watching and don't know who this beautiful young lady is, this is Miss Silva, everybody. She is like my sister in everything media. We do a lot of the same things, just you know what I mean? Like I'm not a girl. So you know what I mean? So like it's a little bit different. Yo, what is up? This thing your phone keeps going into loading. I don't wanna take away from anything. What phone is this? What is this? This is okay. Now unloads. It's unload. I don't know what's going on. Jesus. Be some Wi-Fi. Just sprinkle a little bit of that on the top of the phone. You can hear me. See, you can hear me right now. See, then I don't. You can hear me, but then I don't. I can't hear you until you unload. So I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. I'll probably hold on. Yeah, because I can't hear you. I'm gonna probably have you come out and then come back in. All right. All right. So come back in, Sylvie. I'm gonna see if I can do it that way. And then we can just continue the conversation. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you guys for joining in once again. Another Wednesday night, you know. But man, I just finished watching Hamilton again, and then I was like, damn, you know. So sorry about this. Sorry about being late. But let's see if we can get her back on. I hope everybody's doing well. We're just literally talking about quarantine life. So if you guys just came in, that's what we kind of were stuck on. So Silva, if you're on here, okay. Let's see. I am not throwing away my shot. All right. Better. Hopefully this Wi-Fi you got over there, whatever, can maintain.
I don't know. It's my iPhone. Every time I use the iPhone, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm telling you, I'm over it. Like, I don't know how y'all use this iPhone life. I'm done.
Yo,
I'm done.
I mean, it is what it is. It does what it does. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've never been an iPhone person, but since I got this 11, it's changed my life.
Oh no, this is, I don't even know what this is. I think this is the dumbest shit like this.
iPhone unknown. What the fuck is going on?
It's the iPhone. It's a dial tone. It's a, what's it called? A dial up.
But yes. So let's get into Silva. First, where did you get the name?
So yes, so my name comes from my sorority. Actually, it was given to me. I earned it, you could say, because they said I was a natural leader and a warrior. So I've always been a fighter. All my life I have. All of my life, like that's the long and the short of it. That's where the name comes from. Yeah, I'm a Silva. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. I'm a leader.
So
damn it.
So, okay, you growing up, you going through these things. When and where did you say to yourself, you know what? I want to use media as an outlet. I believe that this is something that I want to do. When did that start for you?
I think I was doing that on so many different levels before, but then, like, I want to say the Breakfast Club was one of the first things that make me feel like I want to take Angela Yee's place. Like, I would kill this show. Like, I would literally kill this show because I've always had a personality. I always was the life of the party. Like, I never could shut up. I was always talking back. I always, you know what I'm saying? I always had something to say. So that's how I even got into hosting, because people was just like, yo, just take the mic. Like, just take the mic and just start going off. So it started with the pep rallies. It started with the shows, showcases, fashion shows, et cetera, et cetera. And then I seen the Breakfast Club and I was like, yo, like Charlamagne is mad funny. DJ Envy, he DJs and stuff like that. I could literally be Angela Yee. Like, I could literally take her spot. So I've literally been working full time to take Angela Yee's spot.
Not even like,
no,
let's be a sisterhood. Nah, that shit is mine. That's my spot.
No, that's a real story. That's a real story. But I did learn a lot from her. Like, I would say she's somebody I definitely look up to. Her and Charlamagne were my biggest inspirations for even wanting to get into like radio and doing podcasts, doing, you know, all of that good stuff. So yeah, the Breakfast Club, shout out to them. I still watch them to this day.
Heard. What was your first, like, you know, job or event that you did when you was like, yo, this is my shit. Like, I got this. This is it.
I want to say it was the pep rally in high school, because it was the first pep rally we ever had. Shout out to Richmond Hill High School in Queens. It was the first pep rally we ever had, and it was like my biggest, most interactive crowd. And when I tell you I was all up and through there, like, I had them doing a wig, I had them talking about people mama, like, it was so fun. But then when I got to college, that's when it really solidified, because I hosted, shout out to Alpha Sigma and St. Francis. We did a fashion show, and I hosted the fashion show. Mind you, I wanted to perform.
Right.
I wanted to perform. And homegirls was like, no, we want you to host. I'm like, but I'm a performer. Like, I have something to say. They
Like,
were
you are
like,
not
no,
gonna
no,
put
no.
me in a box.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they trying to put me in a box. Like, nah, I'm trying to like. To this day, I never feel comfortable like performing anymore because of that. But whatever.
Mhm.
I felt like that it was just like it was a push. Like, no, this is where you belong. So stay there. So
Mhm.
I went with it. I went with it, and that fashion show got shut down. Like.
Mm.
We broke a table. I did a whole dance competition. Some girl did a split, broke a table. It was so crazy. They almost banned us from the school. Like,
Oh my
that's
god.
when I knew. I said, oh no, a bitch is magical. I'm magical. I can turn anything lit. Like, and I was like, nah. I gotta spread this love because somebody somewhere might be in a bad mood, and
Mm.
I know I could change people's mood. I know I could just get things lit
Right.
and put a smile on somebody's face. So I was just like, yeah, this is where I belong. This is
Yes.
where I belong.
And people don't realize, like, the host is the show. Like, without a
Yeah,
good host, the show is fucking done. It's a wrap. It's, you know,
it's
and
true. It's
it's the
true.
truth. You know
It's
what I mean? So
true.
like, you know, I know even with you, like, I was the same way when I first started wanting to do Courtney's Corner. I was like, I'm not a fucking host. Like, what am I? No, I want to be in the show. I want to be a part of these things. And people are just like, no, do this, do that. And I'm just like, no, this is what I want to do. And then
But you know another thing? Another thing is people always said you never remember the host.
mm-hmm.
Like, did you ever feel like that? You never remember the host in an event.
Yeah.
But when I host an event, you don't remember the performers. And
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
serious. You don't even remember the people would literally call me, like if they're at another show, they'd be like, yo, I thought you was hosting this, or why you not hosting it? Da, 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 da. I'm like, damn, other people got answers. Like, I can't do everything. But people always remember me. And I felt like, okay, yeah. So I could perform while I'm hosting. I can
Mm-hmm.
merge everything I want to do. I have the mic in my hand. I have complete control.
Right.
This is my stage. You get
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Once I learned that, ooh, it was
And
a wrap.
once you get that, you realize, like, yo, this shit can't move unless you know, construct this. This can't go no place without the host. You know what I mean? And I think,
You know,
yo,
you know what's crazy? There was this one time I hosted a show in Hunter. I was throwing shows there,
mm-hmm.
and like me and my homegirl was texting on the train, and she's like, "Yo, my dude ain't shit. He's cheating on me. He did this, da 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 da." Mind you, I'm on my way to host a show, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
wrote this whole spoken word piece about him.
Mm.
He was gonna be there, and that's how I opened the show. And they were like, "Damn." So trust me, it's definitely a way to merge both.
Yo, and like, it's so crazy because your personality is like so big. So like, have you ever been in a predicament when people were just like, okay, she's a bit much, let's get her off the mic?
I would say kind of, because I've had situations where it was just like people were interacting with me too much. Like
Yeah.
I said, it started to take away from the performers, and it
Mm-hmm.
started like going over time, and then it became a thing of, oh well, you gotta say what you need to say in X amount of time, like. And then I had to learn how to say things faster because I could talk fast, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like I want people to feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was so used to
Yeah.
being the whole entertainment. Like, nah, I gotta make sure there's nobody like crying in the corner or
Mm-hmm.
bored or walking outside. All eyes gotta be on me at all. So sometimes I definitely did get caught up because I'm like, all right, this show is it's not as good as it could be. So
Mm-hmm.
that means I gotta be on. But then at
Right.
the same time, I gotta realize that some of these showcases people pay for. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
they gotta get their money's worth. So I was like, all right, all
And I
right,
guess also learning that it is okay to share the spotlight. Like, I
yes.
think that was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do as an Aries. Fuck that. Like, it's my shit. Like, but learning that, you know, we can all win. We can all do our thing and we can all be recognized. You know what I mean? And it's still hard to this day. And you're like, no, like, Let me get my shine. That's why I created the segment, so I can have as much time as I want on my show. You know what I mean?
Period.
But knowing that, like, okay, we can all do this to make this shit work. I get that. So, like, then you start doing these shows, you start hosting, and when did you start making connections? Because I know then you go to music exclusive. Did that happen right after, or was there a break in between and you did something else before music exclusives?
I've always been making connections. I like literally since high school, I've been making connections. That first show that I was telling you about that I did at the fashion show, I actually got recruited, and they wanted me to work with this big radio station that I've always wanted to work with. I won't name them because something happened. Okay. But I would get recruited for things and people would book me for things. Like I've been doing that. So I've been around celebrities. I've been around all of that good stuff. I ended up working in Harlem. Like it's the only gap that I really took was from school. But in terms of me connecting and continuing to like grow and build and establish myself with different people in different areas, I've always been doing that consistently. But music exclusive came, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and I met them in SOBs. Actually, I've met a lot of people in SOBs.
So let's talk about what music exclusive is, because like a lot of people see you do your thing on there and don't know what it is. So can you explain to them what that is?
So music exclusives is a platform for bigger artists. There's a lot of celebrities, celebrity entertainment, celebrity news, but we focus on like music and trying to get new up and coming artists in the same, on the same plateau as the bigger artists. So that's the whole premise of the platform. So we have access to like the Marios and the Sweeties and the Danny Lays, and I interview them, but we also want to bridge the gap and have independent artists be seen as well.
Yeah.
So, and then it's an exclusive platform. So we try to get like the exclusive, we try to bring you the new records, the, breaking news, the whatever the case may be. It's a really dope platform. It's a music blog. There's a website, musicexclusive.com. Check it out. We have some really dope writers. We have some really dope on-air personalities that work from anywhere to NBC, Spotify, Viacom. Like everybody is super, super, super dope. So if you want, look, here go the plug. If you want to be promoted, if you have a new record out and you want any type of promotion, please DM Music Exclusives. We here first.
So, like, because sometimes people can get so big-headed. How do you remain humble and going in there and you see, like, I saw the picture with you in Future. I saw the interview with you and Akon, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I would old me will have lost my mind. So, like, how have you been able, or were you able to, like, remain calm, cool, and collected, and just kind of do your thing?
I want to say Mario really, between Pleasure Pete and Mario, they really they took all of that, all the butterflies and all of the jitters right out of me. But like the main thing of why I remain humble is because I know, one, I'm not where I want to be, even though I have to appreciate my accomplishments. I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
Two, I'm a professional. You know what I'm saying? This is my job. I can be in any situation. I could be like RJ is saying, nasty. I could be whatever. But one thing I am is professional.
Right.
And three, it can always be taken away from me. So I don't want to get too cocky and make it seem like I'm bigger and better than anybody, because I'm not. If somebody wanted to do what I'm doing, there's spaces for them to do that. They can't do it like me.
Right.
But you can have some of this. You can be in some of the same spaces. You can have some of the same resources. Look, people who steal from me and copy and try to be me all day.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's a humbling experience, because sometimes people will take something right out your mouth and do it louder, so that people don't even see you, and then it's just like, oh, okay. Right. So you just got to make sure that you're worried about you at all times. Like, I know that I'm me. When I'm in front of Future, I still got $3 in my pocket, so I can't act like Future. I can't act like Future. I gotta act like I gotta use these $3 to get that car.
Nah, that's some real shit though, for real. Like
So for real.
For
So
real.
that's really the main thing, and I just love what I do. So it's not a clout thing. It's not a I want to be the only person I was really that excited to be around was Tiana Taylor. And mind you, I had already met her in 2013. I've been seeing her. I've been to all her concerts.
Right.
But that one time that I got to talk to her, I was like, girl.
Yes,
But
because I know
other than that,
you're a fan. Like that's your
I
thing.
wouldn't say fan. I just want to say you will never see me and her in the same room because we're the same person. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I have a show called Courtney's Corner that deals with social issues. This is one. This is one.
No, that's my girl. I really I truly love her. I look up to her. I think she's so amazing, so inspiring. And it's just so funny. Like if you gotta ask my friends. It's a lot of things that I do and then she'll do. Or I'll be in a situation, then she'll be in a situation, or vice versa. Like it's really freaky. Like it's really freaky.
And you lost your damn mind. But I do like what you said about like having $3 in your pocket. So those of you who are watching, like a lot of times people think like, oh well, you doing this and you doing that, and you like balling out of control. When in reality, like you got like $275 left, and you hungry, and you trying to like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're trying to make a way and trying to make things work. Like this shit is not easy. So like doing it for the love and the passion over exceeds the money any day. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna come. Period. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So then you're doing these things, you're connected, and then you say, I'm gonna start my own shit. And then a Silver Lining production is made. Talk about your passion behind that. Why did you want to create this?
A Silver Lining Productions. You want to hear a funny story?
Go ahead.
I'll tell you how I got the name. So another one of my homegirls from the sorority, whatever, my sisters, I was doing World Ventures, right? So
what the fuck? Like,
look, she called me twice. Shout out to Kay in the building, Urban News. She called me twice. So the first time, you know how they get you. They be like, girl, I haven't seen you in mad long. Come hang out with me. Come kick it. I'm having a get together in my crib.
yes.
I was like, oh my God, bitch. Yes, I'm coming out.
Yep.
So now I got there, and the initial shock was just like, wow, so you don't want to hang out? Like, forget about what you're talking about. Like, so we not going to kick it? All right, cool. So then she called me back the second time, because, look.
Right.
So second time, she's like, no, come out, da, da, da. And then all I seen was vacations, discount, vacations, discount. I was like, well, shit, I ain't doing nothing else with my money. I might as well. I would love to go on vacations all the time and just live that life because they make it look real good. I promise you.
Real simple, right? I know.
Real good until it's time to recruit people. And I'm not. I'm not the person that wants. Like, I can't force people to do something they don't want to do.
Right.
So instead of recruiting, I was literally just using up all the discounts and using up all the vacations for myself and making no money, just using all my own.
That's what ends up happening anyway, low key. Like, you can't make people enjoy that shit. Like, nobody want to be no.
So, but I had to make a website for it. So I was trying to brainstorm them some things, and I'm like, yo, what should my website be? Which one? And my homegirl was like, how about the Silver Lining? And I was like, not clever. And then I was just like, yeah, because there's a silver lining to everything. And I was like, we on to something. So now that was years before I even came out with a Silver Lining Productions, mind you. I came out with I like solidified a Silver Lining Productions when I ended up going back to school. Because like I mentioned earlier, I took a break. I went to Hunter College. It's like one of the dopest CUNY schools, super smart. But I just wasn't doing what I want to do. I was doing physical therapy. And then I realized, I don't want to touch nobody.
Right.
I don't want to touch nobody.
I don't want to touch nobody.
Yo,
Not
get
physically.
off of me. Don't play. Back the hell up.
Not physically. Emotionally, spiritually,
Right.
but not physically.
At all. At all.
So I took some years off, and then I ended up going back to LaGuardia, which is a really, really good community school for people who just want to like
The
hone
arts,
in what
right?
they want to do. So as soon as I got to LaGuardia, I was inspired. I saw running there. It was a lot of influence. There was a lot of people going there at the time too. So I was like, let me make sure I use this opportunity to the best of my abilities. I started learning coding. I started learning video production. I
Mm-hmm.
took music production. I learned Pro Tools. I took all types of classes, and I was like, you know what? A Silver Lining Productions, because I know I do a lot of things. And one of my professors used to tell me before he gave me my A+ class, he was just like, "Oh, you always hosting shows," because I was still working. You
Right.
always anywhere, like you can't be a jack of all trades. And I was like, now I'm about to show you that I
That
can.
I can.
Now
Right.
I'm about to show you that I can.
Right.
So that's why it's the Silver Lining Productions, because I produce a lot of different things. And a lot of things I have and I didn't even put out yet. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's why I started, like while I was in school, I was building my website. I was building my clientele. I did my first logo by myself. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I started doing everything while I was in school. So when I came out of school, it was just like, now I just have to prove to myself that I can be consistent.
Mm-hmm. And that's
And just
hard.
go.
That's hard.
Yeah.
In the midst of trying to make sure you get money in your pocket, trying to make sure that you can eat the next day, it's hard because life will put you in a box or try to keep you in the box. So to be able to
Mhm.
overcome that is a victory in itself. You feel me? Um,
Yeah.
so what I don't want to get to all the project because we're going to talk about them as we go along. But so then you start a Silver Linings production, and then what? How do you where do you begin? What do you do?
So the first thing I did was blogging, actually,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I had a lot to say.
Yeah.
And it's only but so, like we said, it's only but so much you can say on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like real things that I've been through, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt like me sharing my story would help somebody else.
Right.
So I started blogging. I had like 10 blogs, 15 blogs, 20 blogs, 30 blogs, and I was just like, you know what? Somebody needs this on my friends list.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Right.
on my timeline. We got Facebook friends. We got this
Right.
friend. My friends are always coming to me telling me they got something going on with their man and this, da, da, da. So I'm like, oh, let me post this for my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Let me post this for my friend. So that came, the first hashtag I ever had was hashtag let's talk about it.
Right.
Now I said a lot of people like to steal things. We're not going to name no names, but
Oh, because I know, but I'm going to let it ride. I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to get there, but her.
But so first thing it was like, let's talk about it. And I was like, okay, I got this blog, hashtag posting for a friend. Now I'm about to make a podcast because people like to hear me talk. And a lot of my friends, shout out to Random, aka Warren, he used to say like, yo, start a podcast, start a podcast, start a podcast. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to start a podcast. At the
Mm-hmm.
time I was like doing different radio, like guest appearances on different radio stations.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't want to do the whole radio thing because I prefer to kind of sit with my thoughts, kind of get everything out, as opposed to doing the whole live radio thing. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna do a podcast. But me, I'm the type of person I gotta earn my stripes.
Right.
So I wanted to put into practice first, and I always was gonna do it with Brick. Shout out to Brick Arts Media. I ended up doing it with them. But at the time, 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, I'm a partner with Bricks. My friend started working there. We had everything planned out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I took a break to learn in other spaces. I learned a lot about myself and about people just in general. And I was able to apply it to my own. So then I went forward with doing it at Brick Arts Media, which is a super, super, super dope platform. So it started with the blog, then it became the podcast, And then I already was good at doing events because I'm hosting events. I know what events need. I know what the people want. So I was curating events on the side. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I felt like I needed the meat. So after people leave the event, they needed something solid, you know, to hold on to. Like, okay,
Right.
yeah, you know, this happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going on here and giving advice because the silver lining, I provide entertainment, advice, and opportunities. And when I'm saying that, I'm living it. Like anytime people come to me, I know that you do something. I always put you in position,
Right.
especially if you come to me, because I just feel like that's just the way things should be.
Right.
People don't give us opportunities all the time. So if I have an opportunity, I'm gonna definitely make sure that the person next to me and the people around me, you know, are eating too, because that's a real boss. That's a real deal. You always want your people to be good, because if you're the only one full at the table, like, did you
Then we
really
have a
do
problem,
anything?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that came the art exhibition, Heart Soul Art Exhibition, which was inspired by my love for art. Like literally art, like I feel like art should go back to being like a form of currency, and Black art, especially Harlem Renaissance. I lived in Harlem for a long time, for a little while,
Yeah.
and this experience and being in Harlem just makes you feel like, yo, I'm Black. Like I feel like
Nah, it's
I
different in
feel
Harlem.
so
It's real different out
good.
there, yo.
So I went forward into doing my art exhibition after shout out to Mojo Disco, after painting poetry stopped. Because again, I don't like doing something that somebody is doing, and I don't want people to think that I'm copying them. But Mojo was definitely an inspiration to me just in general in life. Like
Right.
Mojo is literally everything. So after painting poetry stopped, I took that as a like, yo, it's your time. And I went to Harlem. Shout out to Raw Space. Shout out to Gregory. He's dope. And I did my first art exhibition.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of dope young up and coming artists that, you know, were super, super talented. And another inspiration was my homeboy, who was an artist but never had a space or like the confidence to put his art out there. So I was like, yo, I'm already working on this, and this is just literally another sign that I need to push forward.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, come on, like, let's get this thing popping, you know what I'm saying? So it was a dope, like, when you go to Heart Soul, the art exhibition, you feel like family.
Right. I love the freedom. Every time I love the freedom in the space. Like most people would be like, "Oh no, what's going on here? This is a lot." But I love the fact that y'all just like, "Yo, fuck it. You come as you are. We're gonna love you as you are, and we're gonna fuck shit up." Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I love it. Like when I saw you twerking in the leather pants, I was like, "What the fuck is going on in there?" Like, yo, shit was lit.
Yo, somebody always end up naked at one point. I promise you. Somebody always end up naked. Somebody always end up naked. The first art exhibition I did, I swear, that had to be one of my favorites just because it was the first. You know what I'm saying? Like your first is always your baby. I had my best friend butt naked in there. He was like, you know I love you because I would not do this for nobody else. And I had shout out to Ike Slimster, another artist that I'm so in love with his craft and the way that his mind works. He's so funny, he's so talented. He did the body painting, he painted my best friend. And it was beautiful. I have free wine, free food, free everything. It's donation. I try to keep it donation based just because I don't want to take away from what the space means. You know what I'm saying? People think I'm crazy. Like I told this white entrepreneur in Harlem that owns like a bunch of restaurants or whatever, and he got money. And I showed him my restaurant because I wanted him to sponsor. I showed him the art exhibition because I wanted him to sponsor it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "So how much do you charge to get in?" And I was like, "It's free. If anything, it's like a $5 donation or whatever." Like I don't think anybody has given more than $20 at a time. Or like my cousins, like people who know me would get like $100 here, blah blah blah. But in terms of like the everyday person coming in, like it's like $5.20. He was just like, "So it's free." And I'm like, yeah. He's like, "You're nuts. You're crazy. Something like this is like $50. And I'm like, well, then. But I just, as much as the money, it sounds good, but it never felt good. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to have free spaces. Eventually, I want to get into non-for-profits. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know you can't put money on that. Like the vibe is just so real. You can't put money on that. You can't
Yeah,
put money on it.
people don't always understand this. Like you
No.
don't understand the power. First of all, the power of just that purpose and just that place and what it can do for you on the long spectrum. Like money is so temporary, and people put so much weight behind it when in reality it means nothing. It comes in and goes like this. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like so, like even with this, when we do this, like people don't. Most people who are on my team don't get paid. They do it because they love what they do. They love the vision. They see the vision, and they work according to what they do. And and they're put in places because of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like, if I paid you, then what? You know, what I mean, you're only going to do it for the dollar. So that way, at the end of the day, you're not giving 110%. You're only giving what you feel
Right.
like is necessary. You know what I mean? So yeah, like people don't realize that. Like, and sometimes like, damn, I should charge though. Right? Like I mean, I only got $4, so I should, like, you know what I mean? But
Look,
you
I'm telling you, like I've spent like 2,000 to 3,000 sometimes on the art exhibition alone.
yeah,
And like when it comes to my events, I promise you, like I'm extravagant, like, and
mm,
that's why I'll be having to like really relax, and that goes back to what I was saying about saving.
right,
But I just feel like, yo, I want to make sure people leave here feeling something. Even if I feel the hole in my pocket when I leave,
yeah,
I want to make sure that somebody had a good time and somebody was inspired. And
mm-hmm,
they always are.
right,
My events, my spaces, my podcast, I'm not for everybody. But the
mm-hmm,
right people will tune in. The right people will gravitate. The right
that's
people
right,
will take what they need. I can't tell
yep,
you what you need from me, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But you're gonna know when you pull up,
yep,
you know?
yep, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
okay.
okay. You know, even if you got to get home and cry, like, what the fuck did I do? But to be remembered, and people want to come back next year and the year
Yeah.
after that, is fucking dope. So speaking about like this, crying and being like, fuck, like when have you, I know it happens for me and it happens for all of us, but when you were just like, yo, I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's just not for me. Or you didn't feel like it was.
I don't know if I've ever fully got to that point,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a point where I was just like, I can't keep doing it how I'm doing it. Because it's one thing for me to be like in my own spaces, like I'm taking those L's. But
Yeah.
when I'm in other people's spaces and like the original situations was like a paid situation, or it was like I'm getting something beneficial out of the situation. But just
Mm-hmm.
because my heart is so big and I like what I do, sometimes I end up still doing it. That's something I had to really change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there came a point where I literally had nothing. And then when it came down to it, like, nobody takes care of me how I take care of me. Nobody's
Right.
going to be there for me how I'm going to be there for me. So as much as if somebody else was down and out, I would,
Mm-hmm.
you want to hold something or whatever, or you need some place to crash or whatever, like, I've never gotten that
Right.
in time, you know what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
have to definitely do things different with that. Like, I remember it was one time I was going to an interview or whatever case may be, and like when I say the $3 thing, I really had $3 at this
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I haven't been working. So sometimes as an entrepreneur, like you have an influx of money, and then there'll be times where it's like no
No
stream, like
flow,
there's
no
no
nothing, right?
flow. You know what I'm saying? Like you may have money, but you don't have a flow. So at some point in time, that money's gonna run out.
Right.
So I was at the point where I was on E. So I had literally $3 in my pocket, and somebody next to me was like, "Yo, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. Like, do you mind getting me $1 pizza?" I was like, "Yeah, of course."
mm.
I have $3 and I still need to make it back. When I tell you I hopped that train, I said, I'm gonna just get this person this pizza because I don't know when they ate. I don't know if they're gonna eat. And that's just me. Like I was so ready to make sacrifices for people without any regards to myself.
Yeah.
That's really the space I was in. So I was like, yeah, you want a drink?
Yeah. Right. Hey, you want an extra? Here, this for later. What the fuck? Yeah.
I was bugging Courtney.
Yeah.
But I still felt good, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect things from people. I really don't. Like I don't expect things from people. It's disappointing sometimes when the agreements that you have, people don't follow suit.
Right.
But I promise you, I do not expect things from people. So and that's not even the first time that something like that happened. Like that's happened a couple times. But that's just me. That's the God in me. Like call it the God in me. Right. And then shortly after that, I caught a come up. I caught a little change or whatever.
Right.
Good. So I already know it's gonna come back. But the only thing, and I have to keep saying this, just because I had a financial panel, and this year I told myself I'm gonna be financially literate. I needed to save. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my heart already, and I already know I'm not going to change because I can't change.
Yeah.
But I need to save so that I can provide for people but still have that for myself.
Yeah.
How my friend says it is, you got to pay yourself first.
It's true.
Pay yourself
first.
It's
true.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in this business, like at the end of the day, your heart is big and you want to do so much, but you can't do shit if you're broke. You know what I mean? These businesses and these spaces that you're renting out don't want to hear that you're doing it for the love of it, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not. You know what I mean? And you can ask my team, like there's been times I'm just like, yo, how the fuck am I going to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, and then still be able to eat? But you know what? At the end of the day, I do believe that God makes a way. When you are in a position like this and you are so giving and so loving and have the big heart, that God's gonna make way. But sometimes you have to understand that He's already given you the platform to make your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't be ignorant and naive to the fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like we're hustlers. Like that's the biggest thing. What it means to be an entrepreneur. Like you a hustler.
Right.
So I'm not the type of person to take from people or like take food out of people's mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But if there's a will, there's a way. I'm gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I gotta put 2 pennies together and slap it around and make a sandwich, I'm gonna do that.
No, that's the truth,
but
though.
I do want to say another thing that was kind of like almost like super discouraging is dealing with people sometimes and having faith in people and wanting the best for people, and then people turn around and just want to take from you.
Right.
That's the lesson that I'm literally still learning. Like I feel like I've come a long way, and that goes back to what I was saying about forgiving people, because sometimes you just gotta accept people for who they were and accept the situation for what it was. And Oprah said something like, forgiveness is not saying that the thing didn't happen. Forgiveness is accepting that I can't change the past.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's something I heard that, and I was just like, wow, are you talking to me? Because
that's the truth, though.
That really hit home. And I feel like with me, I always come into a situation where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure this person is good. I'm gonna make sure this person does that. I'm gonna make sure this pouring into people till I'm empty. And then when I don't have nothing left to pour, or I start focusing on myself, now all of a sudden me and the person got some type of friction, some type of like animosity or whatever. And it's just like, damn, like.
Yeah. And you know something, like, and no matter how far along you get in this journey, people are going to be that way. And that's why we said something earlier about expectations. And one of the things that I definitely learned about doing this is you cannot allow people to be your focus of why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned, like forgiveness being something that kind of like, helps you out, get rid of the past, but it also frees you up for the future and knowing what you are willing and not willing to allow. You know what I mean? Like, I forgave this person, but I also am going to remember the situation so that way it never happens to me again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like
and I
even
know
with
what it
building
looks like.
a right, and even with building a team, you know what I mean? Same thing with building a team. Like at the end of the day, people may do it for their own ulterior motives, and you gotta know,
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, this is not it. Like you were saying, like if you're gonna get mad at me for our climb, then we have a problem, sis. We got a problem. You know what I mean? And like understanding at the end of the day, not everybody's gonna be able to come with you. And it's
Right.
okay. It's all right, you
Right.
know? So you talk a lot about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you've been through in your life now that kind of freed you up? Because I know you talked a lot about this in your posts, like learning to forgive, learning not to be so angry, and you also apologize to people that you were like, and which is big, which is so fucking big because for me, I will fucking hold it down underneath the seat if you fucking let me.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? Like, was it freeing? Was it something that is like a weight that's kind of like left from you when you were done?
Yeah, it was definitely freeing. It was definitely freeing because I was allowing myself to be something different. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like I have for the longest, like literally all my life, like I have older cousins who say like, "Oh, you've always had an attitude. You've always been this. You've always been that." And it's just like now I've freed myself and allowed myself to be something different. And I had to realize that putting somebody in a box, it looks many different ways. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're always telling the child, well, you're this and you're that and you're always this and you're always that, like that's you putting them in a box too.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? I've always been angry. I've always been mad at something. Like my earliest memories are all traumatizing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
So it's like I don't know nothing else. That's how I felt. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
felt. I don't know anything else. And I wasn't given room for the good things that did happen,
Right.
especially in like relationships. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when I reflected on all my relationships, I was like, all of my relationships is this, all of my relationships is that, they end up doing this, that. And I literally forgot about all of the good things
Right.
because I was just focused on the negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I freed myself and allowed myself to be something different. I'm not this angry black woman that people, want me to be.
Right.
Because that's like, as much as I was like, nah, I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that. At some point in time, I was allowing that to be me.
Right.
I was allowing that to be my narrative because
Mm-hmm.
I was angry.
Right.
And it's not like I don't have a reason to. I have every reason to. But
Mm-hmm.
then at the same time, as much as we say stop and smell the roses, that's what that looks like. You know
Right.
what I'm
It's
saying?
true.
Understanding that in all of the situations that I had, there were some good things. And I know that everything happened for a reason. See what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I went through these things to show how strong I am, to show how, I can overcome, and to show that, I'm prepared for bigger challenges because
Mm-hmm.
in life, it's not like things are going to get easier.
Right.
There's always going to be a hurdle. There's always going to be trauma. There's always going to be something that you have to get through and get over.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm showing myself like, all right, you tackle this, you can tackle anything.
It's true.
And there's people who haven't been in situations I've been through. Like I've been through all types of stuff. Like whether it was like physical abuse, sexual abuse, I've been in DV situations and I've learned from it. I've been in situations where I almost became like the aggressor or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I called myself because I've always said to myself, I'm not gonna be my father. I'm not gonna be my father with his abusive ass. But
Mm-hmm.
at some point in time, I was just that angry.
Right.
Like, and I allowed that to be my expression of anger. These hands.
Mm-hmm. Right. For
Okay?
real.
These
Right.
hands. So I had to like bring that in and again allow myself to be something different. And I don't know, there's just a lot of situations. I want to say like in relationships, like my last relationship was like a big lesson for me, a lesson that just keeps on teaching, child, because
Mm-hmm.
we're still friends and stuff like that. And I want to say that, and because I would ask God, like, why am I still in this situation? Like, why am I still even in this person's vicinity, or like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm acquainted with this person? Like, why?
Right.
And it was because I wasn't done learning. I wasn't done learning. Like that situation really taught me a lot about
Right.
myself, and that, as much as like I'm like, oh, I never did this, I never did anything wrong. I was wrong, 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 wrong in a lot of ways that I handle things. because I wasn't in control of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I allowed whatever it may be to influence me and to take over and to turn into anger or turn into whatever. And it took away from how the person was receiving it. I was only thinking of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could be saying something to me in the nicest, softest tone or whatever, but I don't know that person's story or struggle or you know, if somebody, you know, did something to them and had that same tone that was triggering them. I don't know how the person's receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm saying something my way, they receiving it their way, and now we clashing.
Right. Right.
So that taught me that being selfless is bigger than just saying it. It's bigger than just, oh, you know, certain situations. It's like literally putting yourself in the other person's position sometimes,
Yes.
and saying like, okay, how would I receive this if I was them?
Mm-hmm.
Is there another way that I can say this? Is there another way that I can go about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can I do differently?
Yeah.
Because I found myself in this, I promise you, I felt like I was in the same situation. I'm like, why? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I keep having this to deal with people like this? Like,
Right.
is it something I'm not doing? Is it something I was saying? And it's true. It was the way I was handling it.
And I think also too is not owning the fact that you are going through these things. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I feel like it's our history. Like we relate love to pain, when in reality that's not a thing. That's not a thing. You know what I mean? And you know, we listen to songs where they talk about this shit like love is pain. No, it should never be that way. That's not a thing. And if you are allowing yourself to believe that toxicity is an okay situation, then you have a journey to go through. You know what I mean? So like when you talk about like, hey, you know, my boyfriend was this and I was this and I was the aggressor, it's because a part of you were toxic. Period.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
was
Toxic as fuck.
Capital Ox-8. Because like to me, I felt like what it was with me was I wanted you to feel what I felt. And to me, it was just, I'm like, nah, I want you to understand. Like, I want you to understand me. I want you to understand me. But no, essentially, I was projecting however, you know, you make me feel on you. And now I want you to feel how I felt. But I promise you, that wasn't my intention. But because I wasn't handling things the right way, because I wasn't mindful of, you know, certain things that I was saying, certain things that I was doing, that's how it came off. It came off like, well, eat it, you, like, like, it just is what it is. Right. But man, once, I done been, let me just, child.
No, but that's big of you, because a lot of people are still in this. No matter what position they are in this business right now, they're still living in that toxicity and are calling it something else and are adding names to it and writing books about it. When in reality, that you have problems. Like, you have problems, and it's okay to deal with those problems. You know what I mean? The fact that you're willing to sit in it and then preach to people the negativity behind it is not okay. It's not okay. You know what I mean? We're going to run out of time. This is going to be the first time, y'all, we're going to have a part 2 to this, because we need more time. So we got like a minute left. I'm going to come back on. We're gonna definitely get into the You Want Me events. She talked about financial literacy. I happen to be able to make the first one she did, which was amazing. We'll talk about posting for a friend and a couple of more things. All right, so come right back. I'm gonna end this one and we'll be right back. I love y'all.
All right.